How's it? Today we're going to do another Fun Fact Friday, episode two. Is that episode four? Episode two, um, where I was inspired. So I actually had two ideas for today, but and then the my baby's Krish sent a picture of her for Book Friday, and I thought, okay, I'll put the second idea to the side for next week. And this week I'm gonna focus on the books because there's this big match on Saturday, Springboks versus All Blacks. So I thought let's do something relevant. So let's see the weekly historical fact. And the question we're going to answer today is why do so many South Africans support the All Blacks? So this is a multifaceted response, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to focus on the historical response because one of the questions you might ask yourself is why would residents in one country support the national team of another country? Doesn't it make more sense to support your own national team? And it was something I didn't even know until I was quite old. I was older, because my family supported the Springboks, and then as I went out into the world, I saw other people that supported the All Blacks, and I was wondering like why. And when you speak to them, they will often give you the same reason, which ties back to the historical context. So, what is this historical context? So, as you know, in South Africa, rugby is a big deal. It's like massive. It's the country is mad about the books. And as a result, it is a strong tie of national identity. And particularly during the early days of South Africa, like from 1920s onwards, it was strongly tied to the idea of Afrikaner nationalism. So the idea that Afrikaner people are a separate group and they have white supremacy and all of those things. So the Springboks was kind of intrinsically tied to this idea of white supremacy, and no people of color were allowed to join the Springboks back then. So that is insane. You've got a national team that is not represented by the people of the nation, only a certain subsection of the nation. Now, in contrast to this, the All Blacks allowed Maori players on their national teams from a very, very early time. I don't know the names of these players. I'm sure the All Black supporters in the comments can tell me. But there were two very, very big ones that I can't think of now what their names were. Um, But in matches against the Springboks, basically before 1960, these people had to be declared honorary whites in order to tour with their national team, which was crazy because you are not a white person, you're a Maori person. But in order to play against South Africa, they need to call you an honorary white, otherwise, you can't be included in the team. South Africa basically refused to play against the All Blacks that included people of color in their team. Whereas on the other side, South Africans also refused to include people of color in their own team. So, two strikes there. Firstly, you don't want people of color in your team. And secondly, you don't want people of color in the other person's team, which is unfair. You can't just declare things like that. And then you've got this contradiction of, oh, well, we've got this Maori person in, but he's an honorary white, so he can play. It's all good, which is insane. So things really start to ramp up in the 1960s. The books often have tours in New Zealand and they have matches against New Zealand, but in the 1960s, there's this whole movement towards civil rights and looking out for the rights of the oppressed. It's the independence movement in Africa, it's the civil rights movement in America. And so the whole global consciousness kind of shifts towards freeing people from oppression. And this comes to a head in the 1980s, which was a very, very chaotic time for the apartheid government. You can see more about that in my 1980s video on international resistance to apartheid. But one of the ways that the New Zealanders supported anti-apartheid movement, the international anti-apartheid movement, is they would protest matches against the Springboks. So there was a big tour in 1981 that basically the country was divided. quite a lot of people in New Zealand just refused to have the Springboks on their soil because they say it's a racist team. They called it the HALT Initiative, which is Halt All Racist Tours. And they also, when the Springboks eventually came to the country, they would protest the matches. So they would like storm the stadiums and they would attack people at the matches and things like that. And there were basically full-on fights between people that were supporting them and people that were not supporting them, which I included here. You can see a picture as well as the source, the people that support the Springboks versus people that didn't support the Springboks in New Zealand. You can see the source over there. And here you can see the massive protests that were organized against Springboks coming to New Zealand and even getting an opportunity to play in New Zealand. So, how does all of this tie back to today and why people support the All Blacks? Well, supporting the All Blacks kind of became a quiet resistance against apartheid. So you've got these people that are standing up against the racist sporting bodies that are not allowing people of color to be included in the national team. In their own national team, they are including people of color. And when these two teams have to go head to head, they are literally fighting so that this racist team cannot come to their country and play in their country. So many people saw that as an act of solidarity. And so supporting the All Blacks became a way to protest against apartheid because now you're not supporting this racist team, you're supporting the team that stands for what you believe in, which is non-racialism, democracy, freedom, etc. So that's your Fun Fact Friday. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next Friday. Let me stop this share. I need to figure out how to do this without having to look away.